What's up, guys? How do you go through hell and keep on going? I'm on a morning drive right now. It feels amazing, but hey, I got a huge list of problems to solve today. And you know what? People talk about how easy it is to succeed when everything's going your way and everything's growing and you just stay positive and happy and, you know, all that awesome, fluffy shit. So how do you do it? How do you succeed when everything's going against you? How do you succeed when everything's hard? How do you succeed when everything sucks? And there is no positivity to be all stoked about. How do you maintain your excitement then? How do you push forward when it seems like everything's pushing you back? So I feel like I'm a self-proclaimed expert at going through hell. So if you can relate to that, I'd love to share with you how I do it. Like how I go through so much shit and somehow end up making it on the other side to where I end up being successful and I'm somehow still posting these videos on some wins. So like, you know, if you've heard my story, you know, you'd think it probably sounds crazy for me to talk like this. You know, I've made $1 million by 21. I started 6 multi-million-dollar companies before the age of 25. You know, I didn't have a dad who made me money, but you know, or a mom or really anyone, no uncles, no grandparents, no nothing like that. You know, I did this completely on my own, and that sounds amazing, but I think really what's so much more amazing than that no one has heard about are all the hard times that I've made it through that were so hard and so intense that no one ever knew about. You know, those were the most intense. Those were the hardest things to get through. And you could probably relate to that. That's probably what you're going through now. The hardest times in the world, and no one cares. No one will give you credit for that. You know, and everyone likes to talk about, you know, how successful I am and stuff like that. And I don't even get it. I'm like, man, if you guys could understand how much I've failed, you know, you wouldn't even be saying that. You wouldn't even be thinking like, man, you're successful. You'd be like, damn, you failed a lot. I just keep it quiet, right? But how the hell do you go through it? And how the hell do you eventually get to a win? That's what I want to share with you, because today, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm working on, all right? I got 2 steps for you. 2 steps you can conquer no matter how hard everything is, no matter how hard everything gets, no matter what comes against you. You can conquer it in 2 steps. Those 2 steps, they're this. 1, morning meditation. Get your mind right. 2, run towards danger. That's it. Because I just want to leave you off with the 2 things that are going to make your life successful. That's going to, you know, you learn these 2 things right now in the next 30 seconds. You're going to freaking be unworldly, like whole new level, completely unfuckwithable. Like nothing can possibly stand in your way when you do these 2 things. Let me explain the first one. When you're going through hell, and you know, like I said, I was like going through all this hard time in my business, you like can't think straight. And like, that's one of my problems. I got like 9 others just as big or larger. And I'm like, you know, like it hurts your head when you're going through all that. I'm sure you can relate. But the thing is, how do you think? Because you cannot solve your problems right here when your problems exist here. You can't solve the problems that are floating up here while they're floating. You got to get that shit out, and then you can finally think. You got to get that shit out of your head, and then you can finally come up with a good plan, a game plan on what to do, and like actually move you forward. So here's how I do it. Very simple. Morning meditation. I go on a beautiful drive like this, and I'll go sit on a hill or something until I chill out, until I calm down, until I feel good. And then once I lose the feeling of rush, once I lose the feeling of stress, once I lose the feeling of negativity, and I don't, you know, when you go out here and you sit on like a hill like that, for example, you go sit on a hill like that, what you want to do is you just go there and you look at the grass, you look at the trees, you look at the sky, but you don't think about an ounce of work. You don't think about an ounce of problems, negativity, anything. Completely impervious, 100% in the present. When you do that, your mind becomes clear, the shit exits, and your priorities become straight. You have to do that if you want to gain a new angle on your problem. A very wealthy person I heard once say, you can never solve your problems from underneath. You always have to come up over on top of your problems in order to be able to defeat them. And that was so profound, what that lady meant by that when she said it. She's a very wealthy lady. I'm going to keep her identity private. But very, very, very wealthy lady, funds all kinds of different charities and stuff. You know, you may know about her if I were to mention her name, but I'm not going to, like I said. But anyways, what this lady meant when she said that is most people, they talk about how hard their problem is. They talk about what a victim they are of their problem. And the thing is that, you know, that's not intentional. It's just all these crazy negative thoughts running around in your brain that cause that. And so when she said you can't solve your problems from underneath, you have to come up over them, what she meant by that was you have to solve your problems from a success mindset rather than a failure mindset, from a victor mentality rather than a victim mentality. So the way to do that with your problems is to get the problems out of your head. Easiest way to do that, go out in a place like this and meditate until they're gone. And by meditate, what I really mean is don't think at all. Don't focus on any problems. Don't do anything at all. Just simply be. Simply be, exist, feel the grass, look at the trees, look at the clouds. Think about, you know, what shapes they are. But don't think about any single thought at all. At all. You know, just sit there and become present. And then once you do, all the thoughts leave and it stops tormenting you. And that's when you can finally become straight. All right? Now, the next part. Last part, and then you can go conquer your life. All right? Next part is run towards danger. So the easiest way to solve problems is to sprint straight at them. Now, I've been losing money on my one of my businesses here, the one that's selling these wireless chargers, for like 12 months. And the reason I've been losing money for so long is because I didn't do this, okay? I didn't follow my own thing, I'm telling you right here, months ago, and I actually hired people to, you know, solve this problem for me because I didn't want to deal with it. It was so stressful to me that rather than face it head on and go destroy that shit, I avoided it and I let it grow and I let it get bigger and I let it fester and get more, you know, infected. As far as the health of a business went, it got unhealthy, even unhealthier than it already was. And it obviously caused me even more stress rather than reduced it. So how do you reduce stress? You reduce stress by running straight at it. If you got something that's causing you stress, causing you problems, all you got to do to get rid of it is just literally what I call run towards danger, sprint directly at it. And don't stop until there's no more stress associated with it. And now, what I'm telling you has nothing to do with whether or not there's a real problem. This could be made up in your mind. It has nothing to do with how you fix the problem. You could spend a bunch of time on it, and then it ends up stop stressing you out, and you don't do anything to fix it. It simply stopped and it's fixed itself. You know? What matters is what stresses you out. So what you need to do is you need to find what's causing you the most stress, anxiety, fear, problems, you know? And then whatever you identify as your own personal biggest problem, you sprint, you run towards danger on that shit, and you go straight at it, and you find a way to solve it. There is a way to solve it. There is a way to make it better. And like, unfortunately for me, I ran towards danger on some of my other companies, and I closed them down. I realized once I got close to the situation, and like things become clear when you're closer, right? Just like we've learned about the world through the telescope and the magnifying glass, but we've definitely learned a lot more about how to solve problems from the magnifying glass than the telescope. The reason why is because it's easier to solve problems up close than far away. So that's why you got to run towards danger. So one of the dangers I was running towards was, you know, a couple other businesses of mine. And, you know, over the last, you know, few months, I decided to completely close the business down, not make another dollar on them, just close them, liquidate them. And like, that's it. It's a sad story. I cared about the business. I cared about the product, all that stuff. But I faced reality. I got close and I realized reality says this is the best option. And I took action and I did it. So anyways, that's it. Run towards danger. Don't trust me. Just try it, okay? And you're gonna understand yourself. All right. So, anyways, run towards danger. Meditate. Get your priorities straight. And I'll see you guys on the next video. All right. Subscribe.